Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back Today show. My name is Ralf Friedrichs. I am an addiction recovery coach. I'm also the host of the Take Your Life Back Today show. Let me share this with you folks, my audience, about substance abuse. And let me be crystal clear. I'd like to leave an everlasting impact. Imagine you're buried alive. Let's say you're laying in a coffin, but you also know you're not dead. You don't know how to open the coffin and push the enormous weight of the dirt off the lid. You think about giving up, and you're just waiting for death to arrive. But you also know that banging on the coffin might just unsettle the dirt above the lid, and maybe, just maybe, somebody might notice and start digging down to help you. This is what it's like to find yourself at the lowest point of alcohol and drug addiction. You know you need help. You know you can't do it on your own, but you don't know how to get that help. In reality, there are people who can help you standing nearby by the grave, but you just don't know that. You think you're going to die today. Usually, though, people don't think of death when they're habitually using drugs and alcohol. In order to defeat an addiction, you have to have a good, repressing feeling towards death. You need to fear death. I often ask my audience, did it ever cross your mind that when you abuse drugs and alcohol that you might just overdose? With this, I leave you with one other thought. Don't be that person in the coffin, banging on the lid, waiting for someone to hear you. Make the move today. Make the phone call right now at 844-405-HELP and let me help take your life back. Folks, before your life is gone. And remember, a sober today promises a better tomorrow. Today's topic, 10 things drugs do to your body, and believe me, they're not good things. 10 things drugs do to your body, folks. Larry Geis from the Geis Academy at 516-485-2741. He is an addiction recovery coach. He is the bridge between addiction and recovery. He will walk with you hand in hand, day by day, for your addiction, your alcoholism, your life issues, depression, low self-esteem. Get a hold of Larry Geis at 516-485-2741 and let Larry Geis help you take your life back. You can also Google him at www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis is an addiction recovery coach with over 30 years experience. He is waiting at the phone, waiting for you to make that phone call. And when you call Larry Geis, tell him that you heard about him at the Take Your Life Back Today show with me, Ralf Friedrichs. GlobalEyeglasses.com. They are focused on saving you money, folks. When I say we, because I'm speaking for Global Eyeglasses, we have over 1,200 different frames at Global Eyeglasses. Those frames consist of men's, ladies, children, plastic, metal, half frames, no frames. Lenses galore, transitions, photochromatics, polarized, progressives, no line bifocals, whether they're straight or round, anti-reflecting coating, UV coating, scratch coating, thinner lenses, shatterproof lenses, all available at globaleyeglasses.com. They are focused on saving you money. Go to www.globaleyeglasses.com. Let them save you money. Folks, the great thing about me being also the host of this show is I have over 30 years experience in the optometry business. Give me a text at 631-599-0218 and I will help you pick the right frame and the right lenses. Over 200 of you in my audience have done this already, have called me and said, listen, Ralph, I want to see my videos better, but I can't. What can you do? I have a brand new prescription and I have helped them, and now not only have they saved money and they can see better during the day, but they can see my videos better. www.globaleyeglasses.com. Let them focus on saving you money. 10 things drugs do to your body. Number 1, all drugs, I'm going to repeat this, all drugs are poison. Poison, that means no good. All drugs are basically poison. The amount which you take is what decides how it affects you. A small amount is a stimulant. A larger amount is a sedative. An even larger amount acts as a poison that can kill you. Caffeine in coffee, for example, 2 to 3 cups can stimulate. This is true of any drug. Each has different amounts and different effects. 10 would probably kill you if you had 10 cups of coffee, but 10 would probably put you to sleep. 100 cups would probably kill you. Number 2, all drugs affect the mind. When a person thinks of something, he gets a picture of it in his mind. These mental pictures are very easy to see for yourselves. If you close your eyes and you think of a cat, you will get a picture of a cat. That mind, or the mind, takes 25 pictures every second and files them away to solve problems in your life. Normally, when a person remembers something, the mind is very fast and the information comes to him very quickly from a picture of his mind. But when you abuse drugs or alcohol, those 25 pictures per second that are stored in your mind become, if you're lucky, 1 picture per second. That's 1 picture per second. You wake up next morning and you don't remember anything. Number 3, people take drugs to get rid of unwanted feelings. Anyone who takes drugs does to get rid of some pain or unwanted feelings, including boredom, depression, financial, relationship issues. To understand why someone takes drugs now, you need to know what is wrong before he took the drugs in the first place. He may have had some pain. He may have had unwanted feelings. He might want it to feel happier. The drugs were a temporary solution to unwanted feelings, but when the drugs wear off, those feelings do come back again, if not in the same capacity, sometimes even worse. Number 4, when a drug wears off, the person wants more. Hence the word addiction. When any drug wears off, the pain or other feelings that went away comes back harder than it ever did. If someone had a problem that made him want to take the drugs in the first place, let's say he is too nervous to talk to anyone at a party, it will require more at the next party. He might take the drug to help him relax. When the drug wears off, the feeling of nervousness is worse than it ever was before, and he wants more of the drug to claim himself. And then eventually he becomes addicted to drugs, which are poison. Number 5, alcohol is the most used drug of all. A lot of people don't think alcohol is a drug. Folks, it is a drug. Alcohol is the most used drug of all. Alcohol also kills one of the most due to its repercussions than any other drug. Alcohol is a drug. Like any other drug, it is poisonous to the body. Like other drugs, alcohol uses up vitamins in your body so you feel tired or sick after drinking it. This is what causes the hangover. The body needs vitamins to stay alive. Even if you don't eat a healthy diet, you may not get the vitamins you needed. This can cause you to feel tired or even sick. At any time you take drugs, they burn up some of your body's vitamins immediately. If you take enough drugs, later you feel better, but the problem gets worse, and eventually your body can and will shut down. Number 6, marijuana damages the lungs, nerves, and the brain. There are 400 chemicals in marijuana. 60 of these have been proven to cause cancer. These chemicals stay in your body for years. Marijuana contains THC, a neurotoxin, a poison affecting the brains and nerves. When someone smokes pot, it makes 2 things happen. Number 1, there's almost an immediate burn up of vitamins, minerals in the body, and number 2, the nerves in the body go numb. Each time someone gets high, they don't feel quite as good, and each time they feel a little worse afterwards. Number 7, ecstasy is one of the most dangerous drugs. Recent research has shown that very serious long-term damage to the nervous system from ecstasy in some of the cases has caused brain damage and even holes in the brain. This is caused by ecstasy. Ecstasy is a hallucinant. These are some of the most dangerous drugs. hallucinogens cause pictures in the mind to become mixed up. A person can get thrown into a scary or sad experience from the past and get stuck there without even realizing. This can result in permanent feelings of fear, sadness, or other feelings that have nothing to do with what has happened in a person's life. They are hallucinating all this due to the drug ecstasy. Number 8, drugs ruin creativity. There's a scale of emotions that people move up and down as they go through life. Let's say someone is bored. She smokes pot, which causes the nervous system to go numb and lifts her into fake cheerfulness. It's fake because what happens when the drug wears off? She goes back to who she was. She feels terrible and doesn't care about anything. When she comes back up the scale, she feels a little lower than before she took the drug, then wanting to take the drug again, eventually becoming addicted to that drug. The person goes lower and lower on the scale, feels less and less cheerful and less creative as time goes on. Number 9, drugs dull all your senses. Because drugs numb this nervous system, they are on the way for a person to temporarily get rid of unwanted feelings like sadness, boredom, or fear. Sometimes, in an emergency, drugs are needed that an operation can be performed or when there has been an accident, and also to help relieve pain from that. However, drugs block all sensations or feelings. Eventually, any kind of feeling becomes harder to experience. That includes sexual feelings also. The person feels less alive, and he may act like he doesn't care about anything or anyone around him. After a while, drugs will make a person less aware of what he is doing or saying around themselves. He will become slower, not as quick to think, move, or react, and eventually, as the drugs eat away at your body, your mind, your soul, as the years of taking these drugs, the body will take your life. That's why it's so important that you call 844-405-HELP and take your life back today. Last but not least, number 10. Drugs stay in the body for years after you take them. Most drugs get stored in fat within the body and can stay there for years. Here's how this happens. Drugs easily mix with fat in the body. The drugs will move close to the vein, and when drugs come through the vein, the fat draws the drug into it like a magnet. This problem because later, when the person is working or exercising or even stressed, the fat burns up and the tiny amounts of drugs seeps back into the vein. He gets a tiny taste of the drug again. What happens when you get that tiny taste of sugar? You want more sugar. Who can just have a bite of a Snicker bar? You want the whole Snicker bar. What happens to the guy getting a tiny taste of the drug? He will continue using drug. The drug attaches to the fat on the inside of your veins, and then eventually it releases back into your veins, and that tiny taste of drug going through your system will want you to have more drugs. These are 10 things that drugs do to your body, and none of them, and I repeat, none of them were good. All drugs are poison. I don't care if you don't think alcohol is poison. It is. Marijuana is poison. Crack, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, all poison. All drugs are basically poison. The amount you take is what decides how they all affect you. All drugs affect the mind. When a person thinks something, he gets a picture of it. Your mind takes 25 pictures per second, and that is a normal, non-intoxicated mind. Do your drugs, abuse your drugs and alcohol. Those pictures go from 25 to 1, and God knows the next morning you might not even remember that one picture your mind took. Close your eyes. Think of a cat. You just saw a cat, didn't you? When you thought of a cat, when you had your eyes closed, you saw a cat. Try doing that with drugs. I'm not saying try doing drugs. I'm saying if you were high on something, that test will not happen. People take drugs to get rid of unwanted feelings. You have relationship issues. You have financial issues, job issues. You're depressed. You're annoyed. You're bored. Find a hobby. Find a sport. Find time to read. Get rid of all that time you spend on doing drugs. People take drugs to get rid of unwanted feelings. Anyone who takes drugs to get rid of some pain or unwanted feelings, including boredom, will eventually need more drugs, because those feelings will come back as the drugs wear off. When a drug wears off, the person wants more. It's a pyramid. When any drug wears off, the pain or the feeling that went away comes back harder than ever before. If someone had a problem that made him want to take drugs in the first place, let's say he is too nervous to talk to anyone at a party, he will require more drugs as soon as that high comes down. Alcohol is the most used drug of all. It seems that people really don't classify alcohol as a drug. Not only is it one of the most used drugs of all, it is a killer. When you drink and you get behind the wheel of a car, you're taking a lethal weapon and going out on the road. And if you don't care about yourself to kill yourself, care about the person you might be killing. Marijuana damages the lungs, nerves, and the brain. There are over 400 chemicals in marijuana. 60 of these have been proven to cause cancer. These chemicals stay in the body for years. Ecstasy is one of the most dangerous drugs in the market. Recent research has shown very serious long-term damage to the nervous system from ecstasy. In some cases, this has caused brain damage and even holes in your brain. Drugs ruin creativity. There is a scale of emotions that people move up and down as they grow in life. Let's say someone is bored. She makes pot, which causes the she smokes pot, which causes the nervous system to go numb and lifts her into fake cheerfulness. It's fake because what happens when the drug wears off, everything comes back to the way it was, if not more. Drugs dull all your senses. They dull your nervous system. They dull your smell, your hearing, your sight, all senses. And drugs stay in the body for years after you take them. When you take those drugs, some of those drugs attach to the fatty residues on the inside of your veins, and they stay there. And even a week later, some of those drugs detach from the fat and go through your system. When you have a little bit of sugar, you want more sugar. Those drugs will want you to make more, want you to want more drugs. That little taste that's going through the veins 2 weeks after you smoke that pot will make you want to have more. Make the changes today. Don't be that person, like I discussed with you, in the coffin waiting for death to arrive. Don't be that person in the coffin, like I discussed with you, banging on the lid hoping that somebody helps them. You have to make the move today. Text me at 631-599-0218 and I will help you. Call me at 844-405-HELP. Get a hold of Larry Geist from the Geist Academy at 516-485-2741. We are all crutches for you to lean on. But you have to make the move. I always say this. I don't know who's watching me in my audience, but you see me right now. If you are listening to this, you see me. So you know how to get a hold of me. This week I ran an aggressive campaign on Twitter and Facebook. Picked up many, tens, if not 100, new followers. That makes me feel like my mission is being accomplished, to help people like you. People like you that are people like me. You're not a bad person because you abuse drugs and alcohol. I'm not a bad person for doing it either. What makes you stand out more than the average drug taker or alcoholic is that you're going to do something about it. You are going to do something to take your life back. All the changes in life only happen with small steps, folks. You can never go from one side of the road to the other side of the road in one big leap. Take small steps, look left and right, proceed with caution. But when you get to the other side of the road, things will start looking better. I hope to God, no matter where you are watching me, that you have the best day in your life. But I hope and I pray each and every show that no matter who you are and where you are, you have a sober day, for the sober life, I should say. Or I should say sober days for the rest of your life. Call me at 844-405-HELP and let me, Ralf Friedrichs, help you take your life back.